Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 302. I am Brendan. UFC 291, Poirier versus Gaethje 2. This is going to be the prelims, all right? If you're looking for the main card, the main event, that's in the last video. This is going to be Gabriel Bonfim versus Trevin Giles, and the rest of the prelim card. We're going to break it all down round by round here, go over the scorecards, talk about fouls, all those good things. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. If you want to know when the next video comes out, that'll let you know. Plus, I'm covering The Ultimate Fighter. I do 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking down fights. If you're looking for a specific timestamp, they are down below, okay? If you're looking for a particular fight, not a particular timestamp. The fights are timestamped down below. All right, let's talk about this short fight. Gabriel Bonfim taking on Trevin Giles. Not much to talk about here. Bonfim's really aggressive moving in, just swinging. Giles is trying to swing back. Bonfim got to the back body lock, gets a takedown. Giles ends up going. He works his way to a better position to try and get back up, and then he gets guillotined. Bonfim had an insanely tight guillotine in there. Excellent win for him. People. Okay. CJ Vergara versus Vinicius Salvador. Fun fight. Technical fight. Right? Technical back and forth. Fun fight, meaning like there was always action in there. There was always something going on. It was enough. It was intriguing enough, right? It never felt like just a sparring match, even though they kept saying that about Salvador, which he kind of was. But, you know, Vergara was making him miss. Salvador missed weight. I think he weighed in at... I didn't write it down. I don't remember what he weighed in at. Oh, yeah, I didn't talk about it on the main card one. Maybe I don't need to talk about this. I might do a video tomorrow breaking down some news. So if I'll cover weight misses on that. Salvador missed weight, and then Salvador started out landing some low kicks early. Not very hard ones, but ones he landed some kicks. And then Salvador landing some harder low kicks as the fight moved on. Vergara with the hard right hook to the body and the left hand up top. That's a thing that he used a lot going forward. Vergara gets poked in the eye while defending, but it looks like a punch, so it's not a foul. It wasn't a foul at all. And if you look at the replay, it's clearly just a glove in the eye. Nice left straight from Salvador. Salvador using the range really well and did more throughout the round. Even though the striking numbers here are dead even 20-20, if you look at who did more damage, I would say Salvador did. Right? Vergara went to the body really well, landed 10 of his shots to the body, whereas Salvador landed 8 and 9 to the head and legs, respectively. So I felt like he did more damage throughout the round. Vergara was definitely not out of it. He was very close, but this wasn't his round. Second round here, Vergara was staying in his face, more active. Vergara with a ton of leg kicks and hooks to the body. Salvador was taunting and showboating as he was taking damage along the fence. Vergara landing more, throwing a lot more this round. So if you look at the striking numbers here, 45-30, Vergara clearly won this round. Now, people like Salvador here, I really don't like watching them fight for the most part because they get this cocky attitude and then they act all pissy after they lose because they're like, oh, well, none of that stuff hurt me. It doesn't matter if it hurts you or not, dude. You're getting outstruck. You didn't hurt him either. He's just not sitting there bitching about it, complaining, or showboating like you are. 19-19 going into the third. Third round here, Salvador is trying to kick like he did in the first round. Started landing some more of those. Huge body shot from Vergara. A right hook up top, landing hard. So again, he digs to the body with the left hand and then comes over the top with that right hook. It's beautiful. Salvador is reaching and Vergara is moving back to avoid a lot of these shots that are coming back at him. Vergara was doing a good job landing with the straight to the body and then a hook up top. Vergara just landed more. He did a great job avoiding the damage in the last 2 rounds. So even though the striking numbers here look pretty close, 44-38, not a lot of damage coming from Salvador, and Vergara was the one landing the bigger hooks up top. He was landing more. I had it 29-28. Looking at the scorecards here, all 3 judges saw it the exact same way. So it's not that's the end all be all. It doesn't mean that we're all right here, but that's kind of what happened. You know, Salvador started talking shit and showboating instead of fighting. Roman Kopylov versus Claudio Ribeiro. You know, when you were watching this, you were like, "Oh man, this is going to be the head kick that this is going to be the highlight of the night." And then the main event ends with a head kick too. So you're like, "What the fuck?" This one was worse though. As far as like the sound, Like every time I watch the replay, every time I'm like, yikes. I couldn't even thinking about that noise that gets made. Like it gives me chills. Like I can't watch it without making a face. Like every time. Oh, Kopylov was the one with the forward pressure, but they're pretty stationary once they get to the outside of the center. So once they get to that warning track area, the little line that's before you get to the fence, they were stationary. They would kind of sit and plant there. Ribeiro was backing up, just trying to counter with that with a huge right hand. They're both landing hard kicks to the body. Ribeiro landed a right hand when he was swinging away and trying to chase down Kopylov. Kopylov continued to land poking and stabbing shots with the whole round. Had the left hand counter lands, hard left hand counter lands from Kopylov as Ribeiro wades in, and then a body kick makes him back up. Beautiful 1-2 from Kopylov. Then Ribeiro landed a right hand, and then back and forth. Dude, they stayed in the pocket, throwing back and forth. I'd give it to Kopylov because he hurt him more and did more damage throughout. If Ribeiro had separated and thrown more hooks to end the round, I think I would have given it to him. But if you look at the striking numbers here, Ribeiro 31-30. He did have he did land more strikes, so he could be favored to win that round. I understand if you gave it to him. I just thought Kopylov did more damage with his shots, and I thought he hurt him more often, right? And then I was like, and then this left kick to the head, and it was over. This Russian translator, I don't know his name. He's fantastic. All the other anybody else out there who's translating, this is the guy you translate. This is the guy you try to emulate, right? I was going to say translate like, but that doesn't sound good. So whoever's out there who's translating or an inspiring translator, this is how you freaking do it. As the commentary team, so as Joe Rogan is interviewing, he's speaking to his fighter. He at the same time, right? So he's live translating. That way there's no pause. There's no English foreign language or English other language. Because if you're watching this in another country, English is the foreign language. So English other language to the fighter. Fighter answers in that other language. Then that person says it in English. Then the commentary team or the commentator responds. The interviewer responds. It's clunky. This way, it's the interviewer asking the question, immediately the fighter responds in that different language, and then that gets translated. It cuts out one of the steps. It's fantastic. Huge. This head kick was crazy. You can see it on the thumbnail. Oh, go if you didn't watch these prelims. Go back and watch some of them. They are a bueno. Jake Matthews versus Darrius Flowers. Man, Flowers wanted to get this done, huh? He doesn't, but he wanted to. Flowers was the one who starts out with the pressure, and as they're walking around, he's the one moving forward. They're exchanging low kicks as they start. Flowers landed a couple of hard hooks, but Jake landed a few of his own. Matthews was landing a hard left hook to the body and then a front kick to the body. Flowers with his just nonstop pressure forward. Matthews was forced to roll and move his head a lot, so he would get backed up against the fence, and then Flowers would try and unload, and Matthews would have to try and roll with the punches. Flowers gets a clean double leg of his own. There's a hard left hook to the body and a right hook upstairs from Flowers, and he pretended to be hurt and shucked it off. And he shucked off a takedown attempt. A good round and a close one. I would say more of the damage went the way of Matthews, but I could see giving it to Flowers for the takedown and control. I gave it 10-9 for Matthews this first round. Even look here, 37-30 for the striking numbers in favor of Matthews. I thought Flowers did a fantastic job on short notice, but he just wasn't able to do enough in this first round. Matthews is pressuring forward and throwing the front kicks, landing to the gut, but the heel touches the cup, and the commentary team is yelling about it, and I don't want to hear it. I'll talk about that right now. So this was a cup shot. Now, what are you? I will ask you this question, right? If anybody from that commentary team happens to hear this, but they won't, so it doesn't matter. Anybody out there? If you were to strike the groin, right? If you were to strike the cup of a fighter with any limb or a headbutt, which is double foul, right? A fist, an elbow, a knee, a foot, a forearm, a shoulder. If you struck the cup of a fighter, is that a foul? The answer is yes. So, the discussion didn't become, did he touch the cup? The discussion became, oh, that's a legal shot because those toes went into the gut and then the heel came afterwards and hit the cup after on the way down. Doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter. It hit an illegal error. I thought Jake Matthews handled this beautifully. Anyway, he ends up getting the finish here. Flowers shoots a double and then ends up on his back, and Matthews gets the back and gets a rear naked choke finish, right? I'm still going to count this as a foul and a win for Matthews. Striking numbers here, 23-6, clearly his. Real quick, let's look at the scoring. I am curious as to see if anybody gave that to Flowers. Nobody gave that to Flowers. Okay, good scoring there. So here's the thing. If you commit a foul, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how hard the foul was. The foul still occurred. Now, how that affects the fight going forward absolutely matters because, a really bad eye poke, a really bad nut shot, a really bad hit to the back of the head, a bad fence grab, whatever. But all of those are fouls. So whether you like it or not, whether you think he should be hurt or not, it doesn't matter. The guy gets 5 minutes to recover. His cup was touched. He touched the cup during a strike, right? Did it take full force, like splitting the uprights, like a punt, or like a punt? No, absolutely not. But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. And the fact that they were so dismissive immediately, like they didn't even consider the fact that Flowers might actually be in pain. They immediately said, "Oh, that's a legal shot. That should be a TKO. The fight should be over. This is bullshit." He knows it wasn't. Does he know that? Because it seems like he's in pain. And I'll take his word for it now. Now, if he becomes a repeat offender, like Kamaru Usman, then we can talk. But as of right now, this is the first time I've ever seen him. This is his UFC debut, and it didn't seem like he wanted an easy way out. All right, Matthew Semelsberger versus Uros Medic. Semelsberger started hot and heavy. Boy, did he fade, huh? Medic slips, and Semelsberger is just going crazy. Not too much landing, but he went hard. Semelsberger going for the body lock lift and takedown. Semelsberger landing a big right hand a couple times, and Medic landing a huge left. Huge right hand from Semelsberger, drops Medic. Medic then hurts him with an up kick, and Semelsberger lands a hook and hurts Medic. Semelsberger landing more damage in this first round, dropping him multiple times. Absolutely. If you look at the striking numbers here, they went in favor of Medic, but Semelsberger did the damage. So 18-17 for Medic, but I had it 10-9 for Semelsberger. Medic still confident in his striking and keeping the pressure on, landing a hard left hook to the body. Semelsberger now landing some hard low kicks. Big left hand from Semelsberger as Medic doesn't bring his right hand up as he exits. Semelsberger landing a couple right hooks in a row as he chases down Medic, and Medic counters. Medic is doing a better job extending his combinations. Even when he doesn't land clean, he's still putting offense out there. Okay, close round. I would go with Medic because he did land a flurry at the beginning of the round, and he's putting a lot of offense on the arms and body of Semelsberger. If you look at the striking numbers here, again, only a single strike separating them, 25-24 in favor of Medic, but this time Semelsberger not able to knock Medic down or do anything so significant to outweigh that one strike deficit. Last round here, Medic was finding the offense again with the front kicks and the body, some check hooks. Medic was moving better, and Semelsberger slowing down. Not as snappy with his counters anymore. He's clearly tired. He's not as fast when he's leading. Medic landed a combo, ending with a right hook, staggering Semelsberger, then landing a spinning back fist to drop him, and the ref steps in immediately. The stoppage was too early. Semelsberger was hurt for sure, but he was there and he was defending. So I always have a problem with this. It's not that I feel like it wasn't a bad stoppage. It was an early stoppage. Like, we could all see the writing on the wall, but that's not the point. The point isn't to do prediction. I say this all the time. If your job is to predict what's about to happen and then judge or referee accordingly, why would we even fight? Because you can logically take that to a conclusion of like, oh, I expect that in 2 minutes and 30 seconds from now that guy's getting knocked out. No, just call this fight now so he doesn't take damage. That's why they have to be intelligently defending themselves. Let Semelsberger have a chance to defend himself. He was clearly damaged. He was hurt. But just because someone's hurt doesn't mean we stop the fight. Now, it was early on in the card, and I think this referee was a little bit jittery because he really wanted to get in there. But, hey, it is what it is. like I said, early stoppage, not a bad stoppage. Miranda Maverick taking on Priscila Cachoeira. Boy, I really do not like this chick. I really do not. Not Miranda Maverick. We'll talk about it when we get to the end of here. This is the last fight, so we'll talk about this one, and I'll go off on not a bit of a rant. I'm just going to talk about quality human being stuff. Maverick was doing a good job staying out of range and entering with landing a couple shots, a low kick here and there. Maverick caught a kick and got the takedown along the fence. You could give this first round a 10-8 in Maverick for how one-sided it was. You look at it, 3 minutes and 29 seconds of control time, 16 strikes to 4 for Cachoeira. Very dominant round. I probably wouldn't go 10-8, but I could see it being one. Maverick is now trying for takedowns on the outside. Cachoeira is doing a good job staying up so far, but then Maverick gets a takedown at 305 with Cachoeira, and then Cachoeira grabs the cage. So she grabbed the cage. Cachoeira uses the toes in the fence and the fingers in the eyes to get out of mount, but still ends up on her back. Another round for Maverick, easy peasy, 20-18. Cachoeira was moving forward, swinging hard hooks, trying to land something big. Maverick gets the beautiful single leg at 425. Maverick goes for the armbar and gets Cachoeira, and then Cachoeira Brazilian taps like 3 times. Okay. For those of you guys who don't know what a Brazilian tap is, it's when someone's being submitted, right? So they're in the middle of a submission attempt, and they go to tap, but they do it like this. But they don't do the second one, or they'll do like maybe I'll tap, maybe to get that person to relieve pressure, so that way they can get out of it and continue fighting. It's dirty as shit. We've seen it before. It's not the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last. It's they call it a Brazilian tap because for a lot of reasons, but it's a dirty move, and it's not the only dirty thing that she does. She was digging in the gloves, she was digging in the eyes, she was holding on to the the cage. She did this Brazilian tap, and it was as obvious as it could get. She goes like whap, and then maybe I'll tap. Okay, maybe now I'll tap. Bullshit. And you can see that Maverick relieved some of the pressure, but didn't let go of it. Good on her, because that would have been controversial and kind of bullshit. Yeah, I'm glad this ended the way it did. I'm not a fan of Cachoeira. She, dug into some other woman's eyes in a previous fight. Listen, if you want to fight in a no-holds-barred type of eye gouging, nut grabbing, nut shotting, back of the head punching type of deal, headbutt and stuff, fine, go for it. Go find an organization that'll allow you to do that. But there's rules here, right? And the rules aren't necessarily for the protection of the fighter, because they can get damaged in a whole bunch of other ways. But I would argue that the eye stuff is, clearly over the line. There's certain things that, because this is, a sport and an organization that has a large, stable of fighters that they need to keep going forward and create storylines around and promote. You can't have fighters doing this to your other fighters, right? It's one of the reasons they got rid of Husamar Paharis. Dude, he's ripping people's knees apart, then people are on the men for a year and a half. You just took away not just that fighter's pay and that fighter's money, which is probably the worst fucking part, but you also took away opportunities for the UFC to make money, because now that fighter can't fight. And it's stupid. It's stupid. So someone like this, I think you give them, maybe one more shot. If she does something dirty again, and if she pokes somebody's eye, I just fucking cut her. She's not that good to where people would be upset. This isn't John Jones here who can get away with fucking anything. But I would cut her. I would, because she's gonna hurt somebody. She's gonna do something stupid, and she's not good enough to be based off what we're seeing here. She's clearly not good enough to be the champion anyway. So all you're doing is getting rid of a mediocre talent who's likely to injure your fighters. I'm okay with that, unless she cleans up her shit. All right. That's it for this. Let me guys know what you guys thought about the card. Okay, if you guys did not go watch the prelims, go watch them. There's some really good fights on this card. There's some really good fights overall. If you didn't watch the pay-per-view, might be one of those ones. It's like the last one. I go buy it and watch it. It's really good. It is really good. So I recommend it. Subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out. Hope you guys have an amazing week, and I love y'all.